everybody. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the biggest mistakes that athletes are making. I'm sure that through the whole a video, we will probably add more, or after we record the video, we'll probably remember, oh, we should have added this or that. But I guess that video may have an update. If the video is too long, we might do part A and part B. So let's just start. I have a list that I wrote down because I don't think I can come up right away. But the first mistake I would say is the goals. If an athlete doesn't have a goals, there's not going to be a purpose, and usually the purpose is what's going to drive you to train harder, be more organized, push yourself out of your comfort zone. What do you think?
No, the goals are very important because again, it's that's the same as if you just go to practice, but there are no tournaments. Kind of the way the situation is right now. That's why it's very difficult for everyone to kind of stay motivated. But one way or another, we gotta push through it. But this is very similar to when we're used to having a lot of tournaments, and then the off season comes kind of July and August, and then you're kind of a couple of weeks in repetition, and there are no tournaments, there is nothing to measure what you're doing. Do you do something right? Do you do something wrong? So then with tournaments, it's kind of way to calibrate kind of what you do, and also to keep you motivated. If there is tournament, that's again one of the reasons for the in-house tournaments. I mean, it's like, even if it's an in-house tournament, everyone that's beginner or that's intermediate have a purpose and kind of looking towards something. When there is nothing to kind of look towards to, then you don't really know where you're going. It's kind of floating.
Yeah, and I think the biggest advice is when the season is over, is to reset yourself, and whatever the goals you had, kind of evaluate. Did you reach them? How far are you from your goals and stuff? You cannot just keep the same goals. I don't think you can keep the same goals over and over again. It just
No, but again, depending on the level you are, you gotta have the goals again, kind of to respond to your level. I mean, you can be more extreme, but again, we need to not forget that the goals gotta be measurable. So it's like, one thing is if you're 9-year-old and to say, okay, I want to be Olympic champion, and let's see how that's gonna happen. You gotta be able to lay down more realistic goals where I want to earn my E by the end of the season, or I want to start going to national tournaments, or I want to qualify for nationals. And it can be way dialed back than that. We talk to our fencers a lot about different ways that you can dial it back so you can simplify your goals.
Yeah.
Like you can create a step by step. It can be, okay, I want to do my advance correct, I want to do my retreat correct, I want to be able to accelerate, I want to be more powerful. All those things that can create like a little set of goals going forward and keep your practice more interesting, more goal oriented. It's like, how many attacks can I convert today, how many good defense sections I can do, either parry, either closeouts, sky hooks, whichever your preferred thing you want to work on. But it helps again to kind of keep you on track and keep things kind of fun, and it's having something to kind of try for.
Yeah. So everything we're gonna try to kind of summarize and compress in a couple minutes. Compress, I guess. That's the right word.
Summarize.
Compress. So let's go to the second one I wrote, is the not having a schedule. Not having a schedule, I mean by being distracted, not having like a plan. When do you do your homework? Being focused on when you're doing your homework, being focused when you're at the fencing club, knowing when you can relax a little bit and when you have to take it seriously. Because if you ask our fencers, the one thing we hate the most is like excuses for being always on the birthday parties, going shopping with your parents, having to cook with your parents or something. Like, it just doesn't make sense to us. If you're sick or something major, of course homework happens, like stuff happens. But when we see that consistently happening, I feel like I don't know, it's just too much. That's something that we don't like.
Management is one of the things that's crucial, again, going into your high school year or freshman year of high school, because this is where, again, school, tournaments, everything gets...
Putting my stopwatch so I can see how long is the video. That's all I do. I don't check my social media.
So it's time management is very important, very crucial. We talked about a lot about it with the students that we have right now, like going to Ivy League schools. I still will not, I'll never forget this kind of. We had one of those. We had a breakfast, like a team breakfast almost. I think it was in Columbus, where we kind of sat down. It was Nicholas, it was Robert, Trenton's parents, and we talked about, they were just finishing their middle school, and we really talked about how, again, Nicholas was already 1 or 2 years
So
ahead.
when he says Nicholas, for the whoever doesn't know the older generation that is going to college or going to graduate college, Nicholas no, Robert Widowski, Trenton Schmidt. That's what Chris is
Yes.
referring to.
So again, it's like we just really had this breakfast thing where we talked about how important time management is, because especially if you're a better fencer, you're really gonna have a lot more demanding schedule in general. It's like and it's important when you start, even when you start going outside of the club to events, like doing local events and doing national events, like little by little, you can even then you can tell that it's going to be demanding. So the better you get, the more tournaments you kind of, more
Less
doors are
stressed
kind
out
of
and less stressed out.
opening for you. But then in the meantime, if you're able to manage your time, then you're going to have more time for everything. A little bit again of the social life and a little bit of this, but again, it's the better you are, the more demanding still will be, the more, again, the more important kind of the tournaments will be, and that's gonna help you a lot. Like if you're able to do the work that you usually do in 4 hours, to be able to do it in two, that's gonna be very helpful for you, and you don't need to stay very late to finish your project.
I mean, you will have those moments, and we had many of the students, especially I think when they hit the junior year. That's the most stressful time for them. But the bottom line is, you cannot expect to reach your goals if you don't put 100% into your training and your school. And we always said how you need to study to get your A's. Well, at the practice is the same way. You really need to put 100%. So having schedule and being disciplined with that schedule is extremely important. So the next thing I wrote is the discipline, and I guess that hits pretty much the previous answer we gave. Being disciplined at practice, doing everything that you should do, not trying to kind of, the way Maestro is saying it, like if you're cheating on yourself. That's what he literally is saying. So whether somebody is doing their workout like properly and lengthily or whatever it is, it's none of your business, and it's not their business how you do it. Try to look at individual, because fencing is as individual as a team sport, because you need each other to get better. Individual because you're by yourself on the fencing strip, unless it's a team event. So just don't look at the others how they train. It's more like, what kind of goals do you have for yourself, and if you can add extra workout, it's going to be beneficial for you. So I think that's what the discipline I meant, like same thing for homework in school.
I mean, it's like it's creating the model where you can apply for in school and in practice. That's gonna make everything so much easier. Like you just get into this habit pretty much. The discipline will give you the habit of, you're just gonna be doing automatically. From this point on, you don't need to struggle with it. You don't need to struggle learning.
And you don't need to compare yourselves to anybody else.
So all you gotta look forward to is improving. That's all we want to strive for.
The next thing I wrote is the confidence, and there's a misconception where a lot of the athletes think that their coaches will do the magic during the private lesson, and now if it's a fencing, it's a private lesson. If it's any other sport, that your coach is gonna do the magic. I don't think there's such a thing. The coach can give you ideas and tips how you can improve, but the coach cannot give you the confidence. It's kind of, you gotta work on yourself, and that's something that I think everybody's struggling from time to time, including me and Chris. Sometimes even you're on the fencing strip, you're not fencing with such a strong fencer, and you're just losing the bout because either you questioned your ability to close the bout, or regardless what it is. So I feel like building your confidence and maintaining your confidence is literally like a daily practice, I would say.
Yeah, it's like you can even role play saying, yes, I'm good, I'll be good, and I know I can do this all the time, like self-motivation. And we're always kind of there to help the athletes. Kind of make sure they're on the right track for it. And some, don't get me wrong, some don't lack they don't lack the confidence whatsoever. So it's really depending on the person, how with the different individuals you gotta work to unlock this where they would feel confident. And again, this it can be someone that's very shy out of the street, but then on the street nobody sees you, you're under the mask, so it
Yeah.
really it's up to you at that point.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll give you the perfect example is we might have two fencers, same level of fencing. One is more confident, the other is not confident, and the kid that is not confident is always wondering how is this kid succeeding. Let's say they started to fence together. It's just the confidence. You can't we don't do different lessons with different kids, or it's just like the confidence. Some kids are hooking up on the strip and they know they got it covered, and other kids are always questioning every single move. And if they're not questioning their own moves, they're questioning the referee, it's against them or something. I don't know. So, yeah, work on your confidence daily. This is not something that we can do the magic, and we can help you with ideas, but we cannot do the magic for you. So then, okay, let's see. Yeah, that's what I wrote. Thinking the coach that can fix anything, everything. So the other thing, it's a huge mistake, is the athletes don't like to watch their performance. I'm not sure how it is in all the other sports, but especially in fencing, it's extremely important to watch how you're fencing, how you're doing the footwork, and everything else, including the body language and the behavior. That is probably the hardest thing that our athletes wants to do. Every time we talk about something and we say, "Can you please go watch your fencing, how your tournament went, your bouts, and we can discuss it," and they're like, "Yeah, I will," and they rarely do, especially if you've had a bad tournament. Unless you watch your performance, there's no way you can improve, because no matter how much we're going to explain certain mistakes that you do as an athlete, it's another thing seeing it. And from my experience, I also didn't like watching my fencing performance because I never wanted to believe what my coaches were telling me about my footwork or whatever it is. And when you see it like recorded, it's like the reality hits you.
Yeah, and you can start doing that even in practice. It's very easy when you have your phone there. You just record one or two bouts, then you can later on, no pressure environment, you can kind of rewind and watch. We had even the situation when sometimes on tournaments we would have a couple of the parents kind of do the filming, and then they can send us the video, and then we can kind of analyze very quickly what's going on. But we teach the fencers too that they can do this on their own as well. It's it's very it's a very good moment again in your fencing to learn from the mistakes you've made, so then you can really analyze why this is happening, why did I get hit, why was I late. So then you can really lay out a plan of what are your again most successful actions, and then where you were losing the most points, and then we can dig further down into the cause of this, and then going forward from tournament to tournament, this can be a huge improvement, and really again one thing towards the goals where gives you purpose again towards the next tournament to improve something, not just to say, yeah, let's just forget about it. Every now and then there are tournaments that you don't want to remember at all, but again, everybody had those. But in general, if you lose, then there was a reason, and then you can really learn from it. And then if you win, again, you can still watch and say, why did I win? What was the key difference? Was it my confidence? Was it my footwork? Was it my parries? So you can get a lot more exact, and you can kind of break down your actions to kind of see where the areas of performance and how you did and why you did good and why you did not so good.
So this video is getting pretty long, so we're gonna stop here and we're gonna record the second part a little bit later. So make sure you're subscribed to our channel. I don't want to make the videos very long. Because I feel like that's what we want to do. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, maybe sometimes we'll do them longer, but watch for our second part. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.